Okay, everybody. Judging by the scores on the measurement quiz that I gave back to you on Tuesday in class, I think we need to hit some measurement topics again and talk about how, make sure that we understand the basics of how to measure so we can apply them to any situation. So remember, each measurement that we have has two digits, certain digits and uncertain digits. Okay? Certain digits can vary depending on the measuring tool used. The certain digits comes from the marks on the measuring tool, the lines that are on the ruler. However, there is always only one uncertain digit. How many numbers that you have written down depends on the measuring tool that was given to you and then your reading of that measuring tool. So, keep in mind, right? There is no such thing as an exact measurement. Measurements are only as good as the tools that we use and the person using the tools. With that being said, let's talk about the questions on the quiz. Oh, sorry, this one first. Okay? Here's an example of certain versus uncertain digits. This gold bar, I don't know if it's actually real gold, probably not, seeing as how it's just a picture. But this gold bar is being measured by two separate rulers. Those separate rulers have different marks, meaning that there should be a different number of certain digits and a different number of uncertain digits. If we look at the bottom ruler first, okay, each of the lines on the ruler represents 1 centimeter. Therefore, we have one certain digit. It's 8. Then we have an estimation of how far we are between the previous certain digit and the next certain digit. I think this is about 70% of the way, so I would call this 8.7 centimeters, according to the bottom ruler. However, on the top ruler, the 7 and the 8 and the 9, 1 centimeter is marked, but each of those little tick marks in between, that results in 10 divisions between the 6 and the 7, so each of those tick marks represents 0.1 centimeters. So if I look here and I see that, looking now that I know exactly where the 0.7 mark is, to me it doesn't exactly look like it's on the 0.7 mark. It looks like it's a little in front of the 0.7 mark. That means my certain digits now, 8.6, because I know it's at least 8.6 centimeters, because I can see where the 0.6 centimeter line is. Now I have to go one place past that, so I would record the measurement of this line as, I don't know, 8.67 centimeters, because it looks like it's kind of close to the 0.7 line, not quite there, so I would record that as 8.67. Both of these measurements are correct, based on the measuring tool that was used to measure them. All right? Let's take a look at number 1 on the quiz. There's number 1. Regardless of where you think the paperclip actually came out, looking at the ruler, here's 1 centimeter, although it doesn't actually say that. Here's the next centimeter. Here's the next centimeter. It doesn't say if they're actually centimeters. I'm just going to assume they are. But if you look in between the 2 centimeter mark and the 3 centimeter mark, there are 10 divisions. That means that each one of these lines represents 0.1 centimeters. Each one of these lines represents 0.1 centimeters, meaning I need to take my measurements on the certain digits to the 0.1 place. So I look at this, and I don't know, I have a little bit to help me here. So let's give myself a little line, okay? And to me, drawing that line in, it looks like that object is a little bit past the 3 line. So I would record the measurement of that object as, let's say, 3.0, because it's at least 3.0, but it hasn't made it to the 3.1 line yet. So I might go 3.01 centimeters. Now, on the quiz, a lot of you thought it was right on the 3 line. That's okay. You can think it's right on the 3 line. However, if it's right on the 3 line, it's 3.0, but now it's 0% of the way between 3.0 and 3.1. Also, if you look at these two measurements, 3.01 in blue, 3.00 in red, They both have two certain digits, certain digits, and one uncertain digit. That has to be the case if we're using the same ruler to measure different lengths. Just to further illustrate that point, here's that same ruler, but now I got a smaller paper clip. So if I take a look at this paper clip, I see that, if I take a look at the ruler, 1 centimeter line, 2 centimeter lines, 10 divisions. Each one of those divisions on the ruler represents 0.1 centimeters. So I take a look at this new paper clip. I see that it's past the 1.3 line, but not to the 1.4 line. So I have 1.3 as my certain digits. Then my estimation for how far it is, I don't know, 1.31 centimeters. But the point being, if I look at this measurement, 2 certain digits, 1 uncertain digit. Exactly the same as these measurements taken with the same ruler. When you use the same ruler, it has to have the same number of certain uncertain digits. But the number of certain digits comes from how many marks are on the ruler. Each one of these lines represents 0.1 centimeters. Therefore, I got to have these two as certain digits plus one additional uncertain digit. Question number 2. Real similar to what I just showed you at the beginning, right? I know 8, I know 9. That means each one of these lines represents 1 centimeter. I take a look, to me it looks like that bar is about 0.7 of the way, so I go 8.7 centimeters. This is my only certain digit, one uncertain digit, based on the ruler that I used. Question number 3, looking at this thermometer. Once again, here's the 0 line, here's the 10 line, 10 divisions in between. Each one of those divisions represents 1 centimeter. So I take a look at this. Here's the 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks a little bit past the 8. So I know 8 for sure. My estimation, I don't know, 8.2. One certain digit based on the markings on the ruler that I know each of the divisions represents 1 centimeter. One uncertain digit. I'm going to jump ahead to question number 5 because it's a little more straightforward. Okay? On the balance, right? 179. So my measurement's going to start off with 179. Point. Now, these ones are labeled 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. But if you look in between 0.3 and 0.4, 10 divisions. Yeah, they're small, but they're there. That means that each one of these lines represents 0.01 grams. Each one of those lines represents 0.01 grams. That means I know these places for sure, and I need one place past that. So here, it's definitely past the 0.5 line. And here it gets really crowded, really cloudy, hard to tell. But regardless, I'm going to go 0.530 grams. All of these digits are certain based on the measuring tool and the lines on it. One uncertain digit. Going back to question number 4. If you look at the speedometer, the white lines on the speedometer, I know where 30 is, I know where 40 is, I know where 50 is. But if you look in between 30 and 40, there are not 10 lines. That means I can't use these lines to make any kind of certain measurement. At this point, I only know the tenths place for sure. So this is my only certain digit. I need to go uncertain here. Remember we talked about in class, if there isn't 10 divisions, there might as well be 0. So the best you can do here is 30 for the certain digit, and then one uncertain digit, I'm probably going to go 35 miles per hour. If you wrote it MPH, that would be fine. But the important part being, based on this speedometer, because there aren't 10 divisions between 30 and 40, this is certain, this is uncertain, and that's as far as you can go. Last one, just for some practice. Here's another gold bar sitting next to a meter stick. Take a look at the divisions. The big lines represent 1 centimeter. If you look in between 10 centimeters and 11 centimeters, you'll find 10 divisions. That means each one of those lines represents 0.1 centimeters. If I take a look at where this ends up, I know it's definitely 12, but then I know certainty to another degree. I'm going to go 12.8 because it looks to me it's between the 0.8 and the 0.9 line. I'd say it's, well, yeah, so we'll go 12.82 centimeters. Based on this ruler, all of these are certain digits because I know where the tenths place is. That makes this my uncertain digit. Remember, certain digits based on the measuring tool you're using and the lines on it. Uncertain digits, only one. Your best guess. We will go over this some more in class. We're probably going to have another makeup quiz just to make sure we're doing this properly.